Well, after the first two possessions, it was total domination by your Michigan Wolverines over the 3-0 Rutgers Scarlet Knights. They had beaten a couple of Power 5 teams and Temple and came into the Big House and got slaughtered. 31 unanswered points for Michigan ends the game after giving up 7 points early to Rutgers. Total yards, Michigan dominated 415 yards to 257. And let's remember, Michigan is a running team. They grind the clock. A lot of possessions with multiple minute drives for Michigan, keeping the ball away from Wimsatt and the Rutgers offense and Kyle Monagai. Total yards, like I said, was 415 to 257 in favor of Michigan. Michigan held the Big Ten's leading rushing team through 3 weeks to 77 rushing yards. They were 3 of 10 on third down and 0 for 3 on fourth down. This Michigan defense is stingy. Stingy, let's go. Wimsatt was held to 11 of 21 pass attempts for 180 yards. He had that one touchdown early, which was pretty much a fluke, as we saw the rest of the game, and he had the one interception. Monagai, the Big Ten's leading rusher, was held to 27 yards on 11 carries. That's only a 2.5 average. What happened? What happened? Did Chris Jenkins and some others, Derek Morris, step up? Yeah, they did. For Michigan, J.J. McCarthy bounced back this season after their 3 interception performance last week. He was 15 of 21 this game for 214 yards. That's a 10.2 average per completion, and he had the one touchdown. Beautiful pass to Samaj Morgan in the end zone. And he had 7 rushes, too, for 51 yards on the ground. They were doing that inside zone all game, and every once in a while he'd keep it, and wide open outside he'd get chunk yards. Corum had 21 carries for 97 yards. I think he's back. He was cutting, he was hurdling, he was juking people. 4.6 average per rush for him, 2 touchdowns. Just ho-hum Corum, right? That's what he does every week. I love that guy. Steady Eddie. He is a force that drives this team. Let's not forget. Donovan Edwards struggled again in the run game. He had 6 rushes for 13 yards, but he had 2 receptions for 41 yards through the air. So he is a versatile guy, and he's been spread out wide a couple of times. I don't know if it's just a decoy, if he's going to get some of them balls. Well, he got one of them off a motion for that 33-yard catch. That was beautiful. Loveland, receiving the ball, Loveland had 5 catches for 75 yards, and Wilson had 3 for 59 yards. So explosive plays by Michigan against this stingy Rutgers defense. Like I said, the running game, especially for Edwards, it took a while for it to get going, but by the end we were leaning on them. And in the last drive of the game, Michigan got the ball back with 6 minutes and 57 seconds left and ran the clock out. They could have kept going, got in the end zone eventually, but didn't need to. It was 31-7 at that point. As far as the spread, it was even. It's a push, 24 points. I'm not doing so hot. Clemson lost, and Auburn got pushed around today by Texas A&M. We'll see if that turns around in these 3:30 games and night games for me. But, as far as Michigan goes, it was not the start they wanted. It was, if a Rutgers fan went to bed last night and was dreaming of a start for Rutgers, this was it. They had, on a 3rd and 4, the slant, an inside slant from Wimsatt to Dremel, went for 69 yards right up the seam, and it was a touchdown, 7-0 Rutgers. And it was Michigan's first time trailing a game all season, at any point in any game all season. And then Michigan pursued to go 3 and out. their first possession, and a bad punt, only to Rutgers' 21-yard line. I would like to see them pin Rutgers deep there, just nitpicking. There's some critiques. Michigan didn't look like they were set on a lot of plays, had to call some timeouts that could have been valuable later on, but just adjusting, getting things set pre-play. So that's a concern. But overall, like I said, Michigan scored 31 unanswered points from then on. Rutgers had a 27-yard run, but a holding call was called, and one of the very few penalties all game. Rutgers had a lot of false starts throughout this game, which is a testament to Michigan's crowd. That was awesome. But Rutgers eventually went 3-and-out. They had a false start and eventually went 3-and-out. But the key here for this was it was a 75-yard punt to Michigan's 6-yard line. So not only is Michigan on their second possession, down 7 to Rutgers, they have to start from their own 6. No problem. No problem, Corum says. 7 plays, 94 yards. Corum had a 15-yard run after like a hurdle and a twist around on a defender. Samaj Morgan had a tunnel screen. First time I've seen one of those this season. Maybe they've had a couple others, but it was nice to see Samaj Morgan stepping up in this wide receiver room. And then on 3rd and 2, Edwards had that 33-yard catch and run, and a beautiful flea flicker to Loveland for 35 yards. Corum had that 2-yard run to cap off the drive. It was a touchdown. Michigan was tied 7-7. I'll spare you some of these drives, but a key one was Michigan on 3rd and 8. Wilson had a 23-yard catch. McCarthy had a 22-yard run, and Michigan called a timeout on this drive. With 4:33 left, they weren't set up. It was a concern. But on 3rd and 6, Loveland dove for a first down, didn't he? Wasn't that a first down? I think it was. But they went to review, and either way, moved the ball ahead closer to that half-yard line. But they didn't. They went for it on 4th and 1. Anyway, it didn't matter. Corum had that 2-yard run. And on 3rd and 7 later in the drive, so all of these 3rd downs, 4th downs, Michigan overcame a lot of them in this game. 3rd and 7, Morgan had that 18-yard touchdown catch. Beautiful. Right into the end zone from J.J. McCarthy. 14-7, Michigan. Now, Rutgers had 1:41 left, but couldn't do anything. Well, the guy fair caught the ball and didn't catch the ball. He signaled for fair catch, did not catch the ball, so they got it at their own 6-yard line, and that pretty much put a kaput to their drive. It was 3-and-out. To start the third quarter, Michigan had another amazing drive. 8-minute drive, to be exact. Took up over half of the quarter in 14 plays, but they couldn't cap it off. They missed. Well, actually, they made a 46-yard field goal. They missed a field goal earlier. So special teams is a concern here for the first 3 weeks. They need to get better for Michigan to keep on doing what they do. But it was 17-7 at that point, and it was Corum again. And on 3rd and 1, Edwards was short. Why do we even do this? He can't get a yard. Sorry. Edwards, come on, man. And the offensive line, too. How come Corum can get it, Edwards can't? He's more of a straight line runner. But get some yards, please, rushing. That's what you're there for. On 3rd and 9, McCarthy was sacked, and Bailey got that sack for Rutgers. They were forced to the field goal, but it was good, 17-7, Michigan. So, and then, some trades back and forth. Sainer still, on 4th and 2, had that 71-yard interception for a touchdown. It was 24-7. Rutgers went 3-and-out then, and then Michigan had a touchdown run after that. So heating up offensively, heating up defensively. It was a great performance, I think, in the second half, especially by the University of Michigan. Wilson had that 11-yard catch. Loveland had a 28 yards on a great throw from McCarthy up the seam. Loveland just went up and high pointed that ball and came down with it. McCarthy had a 9-yard run. Corum's 5-yard touchdown run, his second. Rutgers had the ball and moved it, but on 4th and 6, they went for it. And at Michigan's 19-yard line, it was incomplete. And there was 6:57 left. Michigan ran out the clock. So a gutty, gritty performance by this whole entire team. Michigan got Harbaugh back on the sidelines this week, and maybe that was part of it. The chain of command, who's calling it, what are we doing? Maybe it was just a little bit off in this game, but they pushed on the spread, so didn't lose money there if you bet on Michigan minus 24. It is what it is. It's Rutgers, 3-0 team. Like I said, beat 2 Power 5 teams in Temple. Came into the big house and got swarmed. Wimsatt is not a viable quarterback. He is more of a runner. Maybe he can catch the ball, put him at tight end. I don't understand him being a quarterback. I really don't. Especially after the 2 pick sixes he threw last year versus Michigan. We'll still have to see Rutgers play some of these lesser teams in the Big Ten to get a better take on their program. And we'll have to see Michigan play some of these better teams, especially on the road coming up at Nebraska and then at Minnesota, whether they are a viable force this year in the Big Ten with JJ slinging it around a little bit more this season. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Like the video if you have not. Share with other people, please. Word of mouth or social media, that's fine. They can find me at Dependent Fanatic on YouTube. Type it in. Hit the bell for notifications after you subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. It's been a lot of great games, like I said, so far. If one catches my eye, I might react to it. Thank you, everybody. Stay tuned for the resume ranking that makes sense, and the Power 5. I started doing a Power 5 ranking, my actual top 10 that I think are the best teams in the nation. Thank you, everybody, and go blue.